What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another Marvel Future Fight video. Alright, so in this one here, we're going to be taking Mystique in against Galactus to see how she can do. Got her to level 70, so of course I was curious to see how she would do against Galactus. So let's go ahead and take a look at our build here, and then we'll jump right into the gameplay. So for her gears here, we don't have any Uru on her right now. She's kind of just bare bones. I do have the 4th gear here leveled up a little bit for that extra skill cooldown, because she didn't have any, if I remember correctly, as orange stats, so she needed that little extra bump there. For her skills, I have her 3rd, 4th, and 5th leveled up, so I didn't touch the 1st or 2nd skill. For Isolate set, we have Power of Angry Hulk. We do have just a stage 6, so not fully awakened. They're just 6-star. For her custom gear here, I still have the same obelisk on her, an ignore dodge crit rate 140 proc. So yeah, she definitely has a lot of room to improvement here for her custom gear. I could put on a CTP, or I can even just put another obelisk on her, but upgrade the damage proc and get a little more out of her, because we are only rocking a 140 proc right here. So keep that in mind when you see the gameplay, but she actually does surprise me with how well she does. So let's go look at the details here. We have max attack speed. Our crit rate is looking pretty good, but we do have crit rate, of course, on our obelisk there. Our crit damage is quite low, so that's probably something I'd focus on when I start putting some Uru on her. Our ignore defense, that's pretty much max. We're 0.03% off there. And then similar situation with our skill cooldown, we're basically max there. So got all of those stats looking good. Just need to work on that crit damage there a little bit. What else we need to go over here? Oh, I do not have, as you can see here, her awakening skill unlocked. I'm still working on getting that. I still need some more of those dang Mandalay gem fragment. So she's not going to be able to use her awakening skill, which we know that how powerful the awakening skill is on like Red Skull, Doc Ock, and even the updated now awakening skill for the Warriors of the Sky. So once she gets that awakening skill, she's definitely going to be hitting a lot harder. So yeah, she'll be able to dish out even more damage once I get that awakening skill unlocked. But for now, this is what she's looking like. So let's go ahead and hop into the gameplay and see how she did against Galactus. Alright, so we're loading in here with 2 random teammates. We got a level 70 Scarlet Witch, and then we've got a guy with a Wolverine, Sharon, and Rogue to try and help us out here, but I'm not really too convinced that they're going to be doing much damage here. So basically all that we're going to be seeing is from Mystique, and the team that I have is Mystique with her own leadership, and then we have a Shuri for her tier 2 passive, and then we have a Taskmaster as well for his tier 2 passive, because she is a weapons master, so or weapons specialist, whatever we call it, so she can take advantage of his tier 2 passive. And I think his passive is pretty similar to the 45% increased supervillain, so kind of like Shuri or Coulson or a Wave or Valkyrie or somebody like that. I think his is pretty similar in terms of their effects on Mystique here. I could be wrong. I haven't really tested it very much. I've done very limited testing and some World Boss Ultimate, where I was swapping out Taskmaster for Valkyrie, and I was going back and forth between the two, and it seemed like the damage wasn't really much different. It seemed very, very similar to me. I was on a very high stage of World Boss Ultimate, so I'm not sure if that had affected anything, but yeah, I didn't really see a huge difference here. The main reason I'm using him is just because she's one of the few characters that can take advantage of Taskmaster, and is actually a really strong character on her own, so I can just pair her up with him and off we go. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you've done more testing, or if you know if Taskmaster is going to, is significantly better than just a regular support for someone like Mystique, Deadpool, or Wolverine. Well, actually, I haven't tested with Deadpool and Wolverine, so I can't really talk to that, but I've only tested here with Mystique a little bit, and like I said, I didn't see much of a difference. But anyway, as you can see here, we got ourselves in a little bit of trouble. We're getting hit by the purple circles of death. And yeah, we lost about half of our health, but here we go. Anyway, so for Mystique here, let's take a look at what she's been doing in this past 2 minutes. And yeah, all of the damage, because you saw me pull up the bar a little bit earlier, about, I don't know, 20 seconds ago. We saw that, yes, I am doing like 90% of the damage. So yeah, everything you see here is Mystique, and she's definitely moving the bar. So Mystique is doing quite well against Galactus here, which actually at first surprised me a little bit, because when I was trying her out against Master Mold, she didn't seem like she was doing a ton of damage. So I was like, okay, I don't think she's going to be able to do Galactus, because it seemed like she could barely do Master Mold, but as we can see here, she's doing significant damage to him. And I'm basically just proccing on the 5th skill like I usually do in War Boss Ultimate. I use the 3rd skill right before I go into the 5th skill. Oh, we're going to switch there because we almost died from those meteors. But yeah, I'm using the 3rd skill right before I go into the 5th skill for that accumulation to get a little bit more damage. And she's doing a good, like, what, bar to bar and a half every proc? Let's find out here. See if we can see. Well, we're quite late on that proc there, but that ended up being like 80% of a bar. So maybe if we got the proc at the start of the skill, start of the 5th skill, which we're a little bit off right now. We're not proccing until like the very end of the 5th skill, which I noticed right there. So I used the 2nd and the 1st skill to try to stall out time a little bit to try to, there we go, realign the proc. As you can see there, yeah, so a little bit more than a bar when we get the proc to start towards the start of the 5th skill. And yeah, that's actually quite nice. So Mystique is doing better than I thought she was going to do, and I'm happy about that because I was a little bit disappointed, like I mentioned earlier, about her performance against Master Mold. And then it seemed like she was relying quite a bit on her all defense down when I was doing War Boss Ultimate. So it led me to believe that she might not have very good just kind of base damage. But here against Galactus, we can see that her base damage is high enough to make a dent here. And I still have a lot of room to improve on my Mystique here. Yeah, see 84% of the damage has been done by me so far. About 5 minutes in, so, or yeah, close to 5 minutes in. So as you can see, there's definitely nowhere we're going to be clearing this stage. But like I said, I just want to see how much damage she can actually do in the 10 minutes to see if she's going to be a viable option. So let's go ahead and skip ahead a little bit here because we still have 5 minutes left. So let's pick it up when we're a little bit closer to the end of the fight. Alright, here we are a little bit closer to the end of the fight. We've got about 2 minutes left on the clock here. So we've been working our way through a little bit. And as you can see, all of my teammates have died, so it is just me here. Now I have full control of the co-op skill. I can use that whenever I want. I don't have to wait for them to press it. So I can line that up with my proc if I feel like it. But anyway, we are getting just below the 50th bar here. Now getting onto the 48th bar. So she's been putting in some work here. I'm happy with how Mystique has been performing against Galactus. Her damage definitely is very solid. So overall, she seems like a really good character. So I'm happy with the damage here. She does well in GBR. She does well in War Boss Ultimate. She's a support character, so even if you don't use her much as like the main DPS, you can take advantage of her support, which is one of the first ones that gives you support for superheroes or increases damage you deal due to superheroes. So that's actually a really nice touch right there for anyone that's pushing really high against any of the other World Boss Ultimates, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, Cable. If you're fighting any of them and trying to push really high, then Mystique here is probably going to be a must-have for getting, you know, the high stage clears. But anyway, we've been doing this whole clear here, and we don't even have her awakening skill. Because I was thinking about that. I was like, how much more damage, or how much more damage, or how much faster will we actually be doing this if we had that awakening skill? Because the awakening skill itself is usually the strongest skill that the character has, so it usually does the most damage out of any of the skills. So I'd definitely be getting my damage proc on the awakening skill, and then you get that super nice buff from it as well, that 50% increase to all attack that you're going to be having for pretty much the entire fight. So then all of her other skills are going to be hitting that much harder. So yeah, if we had that awakening skill, I feel like we'd be doing a significant significant more amount of damage. So I definitely think it'd be a noticeable increase if we got that awakening skill. But sadly, I'm nowhere close to unlocking that right now. I'm not even at the halfway point from Mandalay Gem Fragments, but as soon as I get enough, I will definitely get her awakening skill, because I do like Mystique enough that I would invest those materials into her. But here we go, 10 minutes in, we got 32.5 million damage, so that's definitely enough damage to take on Galactus here. So I definitely see this is a pass for Mystique. I would say that she's able to take on Galactus pretty comfortably. I did use 2 supports in her own leadership, so keep that in mind, but I did only have a 140 damage proc. And yeah, that's the results right here. And also, I have very, very low attack on my comic cards, or low physical attack on my comic cards. So all of my physical damage characters are severely hindered compared to my energy attack, because there's like something like a 30% or no 25% attack difference between my energy and physical attack characters in terms of my cards. So yeah, I'm really happy and I'm impressed with her performance here against Galactus. She's definitely a pass. She can do Galactus pretty comfortably. She did way more than 1/3 of the damage, which is my criteria if I consider a character to be good against Galactus or not. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on Mystique below, if you've unlocked her, if you tried her in GBR here as well, if you've been impressed with her, if you think she's kind of underperforming for you or anything like that. Yeah, just let me know your feelings about Mystique in general. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.